in inpatient services?
Yeah, and CAMS and outpatient.
An inpatient.
An inpatient. So I've been to CAMS for a long year. How long have you been for?
I think it's now 3.
3?
Yeah.
Well, what's important from when you start going is that you build up trust in your therapist, because a lot of the time they do expect you to just open up and tell them everything when you don't really know them, so you don't really feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah, and I think until you've got that element of trust, you cannot then move on to make changes and start in recovery.
Yeah. And it needs to be structured, doesn't it? I mean, like, if they're going to do an appointment once a month or once every 2 months, then they're not really going to get the right idea of what's going on in your life and what you need help with.
I mean, I think it should always start off at least on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
For a while and then cut it down. But for that to be cut down, it has to be done slowly. And in that patient's time, that person's time when they feel ready to do that.
Yeah. It's about their need though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because if they need that more intensive sort of treatment, then it should be once a week.
But it always depends on that.
At least.
Yeah. Depends on the person, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And if they're going to do that, then it needs to be done in a certain way, and it needs to be structured. The time needs to be structured. It needs to be set in the same place.
Yeah.
On the same day of the week. And the same time. So I'll have mine at like 11:30 on a Wednesday.
Right, yeah, I used to have it on Wednesdays all the time. I used to call it my CAMS day, and once they changed it to Tuesdays, and it didn't feel like I'd had an appointment because I was still expecting it on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
And I'd most of the time have it at 1:30.
Yeah, it's like Thursdays here will always be group day to me.
Yeah, so if they changed it to a Monday, it'd just be weird, you know.
Yeah, and it just
or in a different room.
It feels so weird if I had to come here on like a Monday for it. It would.
And you should have that choice as well when you first go, if you want a male or female.
Yeah, definitely, because I had a male at first, and that just really freaked me out.
And you didn't have a choice, did you?
No, I was just sent straight away, just to a man, just like, and it was like my first appointment as well, so you already got that fear in your head of what's going to happen, because you don't know what's happening, how the hell to expect it comes
you need to be comfortable.
Yeah, so.
And when you first went, I know that they did this for me, I'm sure they do it for a lot of people, but did you have a questionnaire?
And he asked me questions, but I didn't have to have anything to fill out myself. I had something that I had to fill out when I was at the GPs, but I didn't have a questionnaire to fill out at CAMS.
Because what we had was, both me and Mum had to fill out a questionnaire, and it was like, to see what I thought and what my mum thought, so things like, I struggle on a day-to-day basis, I could say no, and Mum could say yeah. So that's what we had to do beforehand. I don't know if anyone else has to do that.
I've not heard of that.
Maybe it's something new that they use, maybe because you've been there for quite a while. But the bad thing is that sometimes, in a lot of cases, they don't really understand what you need. They, just go off the book and
just go on the
stereotype. Yeah, it's just, there's like a set treatment for everything, and you could be having symptoms that maybe don't really go with the treatment, and they need to sort of fit that better.
Exactly, it's like, I was told I have depression, and my therapist said to me that if they went by the rules of the depression and went through the treatment of that, then they won't hit all the aspects of what actually goes on for me in the treatment. But a lot of the time they do just categorise people and just build, like, especially with like anorexia, like you have to be a certain weight to be anorexic.
Yeah, and a certain weight to be treated for it, like medically. And
but it's a mindset at the end of the day.
Yeah,
it's a mental condition.
Mental illness.
And it hits you before you get down to that weight.
Yeah. And that's why I know that they say that anorexia gets a lot more medical treatment than bulimia, but bulimia does still have a lot of medical problems that come with it, and they don't really treat that. It's very, very rare for a bulimia to be inpatient unless it's something like self-harm.
We only had one person that I know of that ever came through those doors that had bulimia,
Mm.
and there is a lot more attached to bulimia. I think more physical symptoms. There's more physical symptoms than more mental symptoms. So
Definitely.
Of the bulimia.
Because if you think of the concept of what they're doing, I mean, anorexia has that as well, but with anorexia, it's sort of letting your body destroy itself, whereas with bulimia, you're destroying your body.
Yeah.
It's just like self-harm, really.
Mhm.
But if you look at the inpatient side of things, I think it's really good for the fact that you can go in there to keep yourself safe, but as well...
It could be a negative as well, because that could mean that there's a peak in your self-destructive behaviour, whatever that may be. And because you know it's a safe place and you can do it, and there's medical supplies there, so if you do hurt yourself, then
you can
they can do something about it.
Yeah, it's very easy because, again, you have the 24/7 support any time of the day, any time of the night, and if you do feel suicidal or you've hurt yourself, then there's always someone to turn to. Whereas if you're at home, you would have to go all the way to a hospital and wait to be seen.
I think that makes it so much harder when you do go home as well.
Because you can't just walk out your room and go, I need help.
Yeah, because that would be your instinct. That's what you learn to do, to talk and to say, I'm struggling at a certain time. When
it can't be that easy.
But when you go home, it's harder to it's easier to say it to people, to staff, than it is to say it to your parents, who you would think would be more understanding.
I mean, if you go there and you're feeling suicidal, and you say to staff, I really don't feel good today, and they say, well, what's wrong? You say, I feel quite suicidal, and you go home, I can't really imagine being able to say that to your parents.
There's an uncertainty with your parents and how they're going to react. Who wants to tell their parents at the end of the day that their child is suicidal? That's why I always wanted other people to tell my parents when something was going wrong with me, because if it comes from someone else, then at least I don't have to say it.
Definitely, it's not the reaction on you. But you do make a lot of friends.
I have loads of tons of friends in inpatient services.
It makes it a bit more fun, you know. You're stuck in there, and you have people who are in the same situation you can get on with. So I found that really, really helpful. And I've kept in contact with a lot of my friends from inpatient.
I kept in contact with nearly all of them. There was an argument that I'm not in touch with all of them anymore.
Yeah, there are a lot of arguments.
And I think because that can make it a bit uncertain as well, because they know about your problems, so they can use it against you if they want to. Yeah,
but at the same time, they know what you're struggling with, so they like you for everything. You know, they know what you've been through.
They know how hard it is as well. They know what you've gone through. They don't know everything, because no one can know everything about what's happening, but they understand.
And no one's exactly in the same situation.
And staff used to do lots of good things with us as well. They used to take us out, and they used to do movie nights and stuff.
I love that. On Saturday nights, getting all the food, sitting around, everyone getting all snug.
Me and my friend used to sleep under my pink spotted blanket, and we just used to talk all the way through the film. Just like, not even bothered watching the film, it's just there to have a chat.
I used to love
socialisation.
You do get quite influenced though, and I found going in thinking I would never ever do that, and you know, I went in as myself, and I did things that I never thought that I'd do.
Yeah, I mean, my usual self-harm method was the only one that I would use, and then I told myself that I wouldn't use this other form of, I'm not going to say what it is, but it's another form of self-harm, and I ended up using it, and I thought that would never end up happening to me.
Because at the end of the day, self-harm, there's different types. It's not just cutting. There's burning,
pulling hair, biting, scratching,
self-poisoning. There's so many different things. There's even, you know, scratching and picking. There's even starving yourself.
This is one thing that annoyed me, when the stigma surrounding mental health and self-harm in particular. People say about self-harmers, and somehow they're disgusting, and it's such a terrible thing that they they do this to themselves. It is a form of coping, and at the end of the day, I think every single person in the world will self-harm at some point in their life.
They do. Even if you don't realise it, even
biting your cheek,
or even picking or like
biting your nails,
the skin around it until it bleeds, like sort of going like that. That is still self-harm, and it depends on which way you look at it and why you do it, but
you still have hurt yourself at the end of the day.
It's still self-harm, and it's intentional. You're doing it intentionally. You're biting intentionally, and you're not stopping, and it's harming yourself. So, but I remember going in, and I thought I didn't even realise all these different methods of harming yourself. But you do learn to sort of go in a room, and you get this new skill of
scanning the room. You scan the room, and you don't realise you're doing it at first, and you just look at things in a different way. Yeah, you just find so many. I don't do that anymore, but when I was inpatient, it was just so easy to find something to self-harm. And I think it would make it harder as well if, like, when they did room searches and the staff would leave you in the room with them while they did it. Yeah. You would find new places to hide your stuff. Yeah. And you learn tricks of where they're going to look and where they're not. Where they don't look. They have a certain procedure, don't they? Yeah. And there's places that you think, why are they looking there? But there's places that are so obvious that they just don't look. I mean, they'll look under your bed. They'll look in the wardrobe. They'll look in the curtains. They'll look behind things, but they don't often check the bathroom that well. No. But which isn't an excuse. They all still check it, and the cleaner checks it. But obviously they clean it every single day, and it's like, but it isn't helpful for you to do that, to hide things and to get into the habit of scanning the room. And at the end, it does have impacts on you, because if you do end up using things and self-harming, then you will get the sleep taken off you. Yeah, there are consequences. They don't just let you do it, because if they did, they might as well just give you a knife. And it doesn't work like that, because at the end of the day, you're going against them, and they're trying to help you. And whether you think that or not, and probably not, because when you go there, you feel so victimised, but at the end of the day, it's for your safety, and if you're going against them, then they're going to punish you for it. I think there's that point as well. You fight and you fight and you fight against people who are trying to help you. And then you sort of realise that isn't helpful for you, and that this behaviour isn't doing anything for you, and you don't like it when you're doing it. You don't enjoy doing this to yourself and doing what you're doing to other people. Well, a lot of it's boredom, I think, in there. Yeah. A lot of it is that, and as hard as it is to admit it, it is a lot of boredom. But I found there was someone in my old unit where she was trying so hard to stay in, and I don't know why, but there must have been something really wrong going on at home or outside, and she was trying so hard to the point that she was constantly littering, constantly self-harming, doing anything, to the point that they think, well, she's in here and she's even worse than what she was outside, so we may as well just discharge her. And that it just backfires, because at the end of the day, if you want to stay in hospital longer, the people who stay in longer are the people that sort of work with them, because they have more to do with them. If you don't cooperate, and you're worse at the end of the day than what you came in, then inpatient's not helping. No, it does backfire if you do that. It really does. Yeah, they just sort of kick you out. They're sort of like, well, what's the point? What's the point to this? Where are we going with it? Because if they're not working with inpatient services, then what can we do? And there's other people on the waiting list as well. Things that they can do. There's people out there who really would need to go to inpatient, and if you're fighting against them and not taking the help, then it is kind of a waste of time. So it is important that even if you don't want to go to inpatient, or if you're on a section or anything, just at least take what you can, because you won't be there forever. You know, it's not. It may be long term, or it may be a short term unit, but you are going to come out someday. Because especially with adolescent units, they cannot keep you past 18. Yeah.
And if you're over 16, you have a bit more freedom anyway.
Yeah.
So
I think what's hard as well is when you see younger and young people going into inpatient units.
yeah.
Because, I was like, I was 14 when I went in. So, I think it's just, it's strange when you see 13-year-olds and you're only like a year older than them and you're like, oh my god.
I saw a 12-year-old.
And then, we've seen 12-year-olds in here as well, and it's like, how could this happen to you? You're so young.
Sad, yeah. It's really unfortunate to see, because they're so young and you think, well, you don't look at yourself in that way anyway, but you think they should be out playing, they should be with their friends, and it's not really fair, is it? And
they should be shopping and doing fun stuff
not
that teenagers
being
should
in
be
hospital for years.
No, but it's like, I've been in services for 3 years, and in inpatient, I was only like 14 when it came in, 14 or 15, and it seems so much stranger to then look at a 12-year-old and you feel like there's so much of a gap in between you and that person, and it's only a couple of years, but it seems drastic.
Definitely. I think that the staff can be really helpful. I mean, especially if it's the same as the therapist though, isn't it? You need to build up that relationship, and you do find that you turn to the same person rather than... Because you do build up...
There is an ignorance with some of the staff though as well, because we had a staff member that used to go around and just... He used to call everyone attention seekers.
You see who does it for the money and who does it for the job, don't you? That's how you really figure it out.
And you can figure out who is the best person to talk to, who is the best person who does actually care about you. He's not going to turn around and call you an attention seeker.
When you genuinely care.
Institutionalisation.
Units, big thing.
Units tend to keep people for too long and then tend to lie about people when they first come in to how long they will be staying.
Some people are told that they're going to be there for a weekend and stay there for months.
And I was told a week there for 4.5 months, and there's people who have been in for 8 months. There was a girl there who was there for 3 years. 3 years.
My friend was in an inpatient unit for 4 or 5 years. It's awful, and thankfully now she's completely recovered, so it is possible. I want you to meet her actually, but you do sort of think, well, once you've been in service for so long, that's it, that's your life. You know, once you get out, you're going to be so dependent on having someone there that you're just going to end up being readmitted, and a lot of the time that's what happens. That's a lot of adult units, I think, that that's what I've heard, that there are people who have been in services for so long that they just can't cope with life on their own.
Should we move on to day patient now?
Yeah.
The best one of them all.
Day patient! That's where we're at right now, actually. This is our day patient, and we're here together.
Quinky, did you know that? We know each other.
It was really, really freaky, just before we go on to day patient, how we met, because on every Thursday we have a group, self-harm group, and I've been here for just over a month now. When I came out of inpatient, I came here, and I was told about this amazing group, and one day I just came, and I walked in, and suddenly I hear someone go, Kim, and I looked, and I'm like, Hannah?
It's like,
no way!
It was like, oh god, what's happening? We just started laughing, just gave each other a hug. And everyone was just looked at us, just oh my gosh, what's happening? And then the lady who runs our group, Gemma, we had to explain to her what YouTube is. That was so funny.
Don't be shocked. She just didn't know what YouTube was.
No, really.
She thought maybe it was Facebook or...
She thought it was more like a social network inside, didn't she? So we were going through it over and over again.
The group was about YouTube.
No! You post videos!
Oh, bless. So we see each other every week, every Thursday.
Yay.
And we've finally come round to making a video together.
We were like, we have to make a video. What should we make it about? So we've been thinking for this past week what to make it about. So now I'll talk about with day patient.
Day patient.
There comes a lot more freedom with day patient.
I think personally, day patient is the best thing because it's happened to me yet. I think that CAMS, I was sort of very, very up and down. Inpatient, I was just, things got so much worse, and now day patient a bit more stable because
you have that balance between home and therapy.
Yeah, because I mean you're still in a hospital setting, and that's still like a keep safe sort of thing. Just a little bit further down than inpatient because you do go home and you do have that freedom. So it is a very good balance. And they do trust you. You have a lot more trust. I mean, we could just go out now and go to Tesco's.
Yeah, so. They do have a lot more trust. As long as you tell them where you're going and what time you'll be back, they're fine with it. And you can go out, you can go to Tesco's, you can go have a walk down in the village.
I mean, there are consequences if you're going to go out to Tesco and, buy tablets and take an overdose.
Then you are not trusted, then you have to stay in.
Yeah.
I mean, even me and one of the girls, we stayed out a bit longer than we said we would be.
Yeah.
And they took that privilege away from us, and we couldn't go out for a few days. I think we even got suspended from day service for a day. Right. And then we were every time I went out, I had Gemma phoning me all the time.
Yeah.
To make sure where I was.
Yeah. Well, that's good though, because at the end of the day, they're just caring, and it's not to be annoying or to say, oh, well, you can't have fun. You have to come home. You have to come back early. It's just to make sure that you're following the rules.
They have a lot of responsibility with you. It's like school as well. They have the duty of care with you, and they've got to look after you.
Yeah, and especially because it is like school, but it's because it's a lot more, because it's mental health services. They need to be really careful because
a lot could go wrong at the end of the day.
It'd be their responsibility.
But they do take us out a lot of places.
You do go out.
We've been out shopping to the park, to the cinema, bowling, puppies.
Yes. Go around dogs for us.
Dog kennel.
But there is just one thing. There's two, isn't there? You think there's one. The one thing that is the negative, and it's not really a negative, but it's a long waiting list, because here where we're at there's only 6 places for the day patient, and we are mixed with the inpatients. We do see them at school, but
it's only like day patients in this bit of the building.
Yeah, and then there's the other side where the inpatients are, but it's very limited, and a lot of the people stay here for long term, so a couple of months. I mean, I'm going to be here until the summer, so that's nearly a year. So it's quite hard to get into, and there's not always people leaving for.
It was hard when I was coming in as well, so there's a long waiting list, and I had to get in. I had to wait for about a month and a half, wasn't it? But it was a lot longer for other people.
Well, luckily I was waiting in inpatients. I wasn't sitting around all day every day at home.
No. But some people do have that. You just come from the community straight to day patient, that there is a long waiting list, and there is a fight to get people in, and just praise the staff for what they do, because
they do. I think that it is really good. I think day patient is really great, and if you have that opportunity to go, then I think you should. Even if you think, well, I don't want to, give it a try, because I thought I'm going to go to day patient.
Like, I don't want to be in hospital for a day. At the end of the day, you get that mix between therapy and home. You still get to go home. There's people who are in inpatients and who could be in day patient, and still it works better if you get that balance of home and therapy. I was in day service for quite a long time. I think it was like just over a year. But it worked.
Yeah, it does. I really, really like it, and also, I mean, we're sat in here alone. Doors are open. You're allowed to go anywhere. We've got phones. It is really relaxed, and
usually they would have said something about having cameras and stuff, but nah.
Yeah.
We just get to sit here.
It's just a bit of fun though, isn't it? That's about it.
Yeah.
Well,
I do think it can be a bit too busy sometimes. staff can be a bit too busy sometimes.
Yeah.
And because it's attached to the admin, it can get very noisy with the staff keep coming up and down the corridor.
Yeah.
And we've only got one room, so it's only.
I mean, we've got 2 therapy rooms, but that's the room that we
That's the
mostly
main
sit
room.
in. But we are sort of right in the middle, and I don't really like where we are next to the secure units.
No, but we are. This unit is moving soon because it's getting rebuilt. So
yeah. No, but I think all in all it's really nice.
Yeah. So I think day patient is better than both inpatient and counselling.
We're not getting paid for this, and we
No.
Yes, to promote.
Gemma! I think we're going to ask them later if we can get paid because this is sponsoring them.
Exactly.
It's like, hello.
Exactly, yeah.
The only thing is the food. You don't get away from NHS food, although you can bring your own food in. Unless you are on a meal plan.
Yeah. It's alright. It's quite bad, but I think it's still better than medical wards.
Yeah, sometimes the food can be better, it can be alright sometimes.
Yeah, some days.
One time, they started doing corned beef and pickle sandwiches.
Oh.
Ugh.
I hate corned
cheese
beef sandwiches, they just mess
cheese is like, it's like plastic. It's like those, you know when
Yeah,
you're a
I know what you
child
mean.
and you get those little food sets, it's like that plastic cheese.
That's what I thought. But it's good because like...
Oh yeah, now they're going to see this bit and they're going to be like,
no,
we've got to do that, we've got to give all that.
everybody
We're just like, you're saying about the food now.
But at least, you sort of personalise it, you can make cheese toasties.
Yeah.
Cheese toasties.
Gemma's always making toasties.
And we have these little
orange juices.
Orange
Used to be able to have like 2 every meal time on the day patient, but everyone used to take more than that because they just get a big massive bag of loads of the orange juices. And
they're so small that, I mean, they're actually bigger than the ones that I had in my inpatient unit.
Really?
They used to be so tiny.
Gosh. You know what annoys me about hospital food? Hospital food? The butter. It's like, it rips your bread.
It does.
Have toast, you get a massive hole in your toast because of this butter. Just going on rants about food.
It actually does though.
Yeah.
And the staff put me off butter because I turned vegetarian and then I had toast and I was halfway eating it and they go, oh, that butter has animal fat in it. And I'm like, oh my god, I was freaking out. And just,
It's like, why can't you
the butter has no animal fat in it. Just say you're all now.
Much love.
Nice, I think we're done.
Yeah, I think we're
And
ready.
I hope we don't get angry now because like half of us is chopped off. And I don't care, to be honest, I'm still going to upload it. If we're not on it.
Imagine it's like, just these 2 voices. Right, what are we watching? Did Kim and Hannah actually upload anything like useful today?
Yeah, we will.
Bye.
Ah!